Welcome back to Thirukkural a day, Chapter 6, Kural 9. புகழ் புரிந்த இல்லிலோர்க்கு இல்லை இகழ்வார்முன் ஏறுபோல் பீடு நடை. The man whose wife seeks not the praise cannot walk from lion-like stately step before those who revile them. How does the desire for public praise of one's partner's virtues impact a relationship? Can forced displays of domesticity truly garner respect, or do they often lead to backfire? The sight of the prayer offering splattered across Mrs. Gupta's pristine attire hung heavy in the air. A stunned silence filled the living room, broken only by the occasional drip of turmeric-stained goo from Mrs. Gupta's dupatta. Mrs. Gupta's initial shock quickly gave way to incandescent fury. "Mr. Rajamani," she shrieked, her voice trembling with indignation. "Look what you've done. This is a designer outfit." Rajamani, looking utterly mortified, stammered an apology. "Oh, Mrs. Gupta, I'm so terribly sorry. It was meant to be a gesture of spiritual appreciation." Vijaya, despite her own embarrassment, felt a surge of protectiveness towards Rajamani, whose intentions, however misguided, had at least been somewhat well-meaning. She grabbed a cloth and rushed to Mrs. Gupta's side. "Please, Mrs. Gupta, let me help you clean that." புகழ் புரிந்து இல்லோர்க்கு இல்லை இகழ்வார்முன் ஏறுபோல் பீடு நடை. The man whose wife seeks not the praise cannot walk with lion-like stately step before those who revile them. The incident with the prayer offering only seemed to fuel Rajamani's determination to somehow showcase Vijaya's virtues and earn public praise, particularly from the ever-critical Mrs. Gupta. He embarked on a series of increasingly awkward attempts to highlight Vijaya's domestic talents. He insisted on inviting Mrs. Gupta over for a specifically prepared lunch, much to Vijaya's dismay. He then proceeded to hover around her in the kitchen, loudly announcing every single thing she did. "Ah, Mrs. Gupta, observe my wife's expert chopping skills, truly a master of the culinary arts. Or see how efficiently she manages the pressure cooker, a paragon of domestic prowess." Vijaya gritted her teeth, trying to maintain a semblance of composure while Rajamani's clumsy attempts at showcasing her skills bordered on the farcical. Captain Caspian, observing the scene with a bemused expression, leaned over to Mali and muttered in his Australian drawl, "Blimey, mate, this bloke's making a right drill of himself." To make matters worse, the crew inadvertently kept sabotaging Rajamani's efforts. Ben, trying to be helpful, accidentally substituted salt for sugar in the dessert, while Mali's experiment fusion dishes turned out to be spectacularly inedible. During the disastrous lunch, Rajamani eagerly asked Mrs. Gupta, "So, Mrs. Gupta, what do you think of Vijaya's virtues?" Mrs. Gupta, still sporting a faint yellow stain on her dupatta, offered a tight smile. "Very creative, Mr. Rajamani." Later that week, Rajamani decided that a public display of Vijaya's domestic excellence was in order. He announced that they would be hosting a garden party and invited the entire neighborhood, including a rather apprehensive Mrs. Gupta. Vijaya was mortified. She loathed being the center of attention, and the thought of Rajamani parading her supposed virtues in front of everyone filled her with dread. However, she reluctantly agreed, not wanting to cause a scene. The garden party was predictably a comedy of errors. Rajamani insisted on reciting poems and chorals at every opportunity, often misinterpreting their meaning to fit his agenda. He tried to organize a traditional Tamil games session, which descended into chaos thanks to Captain Caspian's overly competitive spirit and Mali's unorthodox interpretations of the rules. The final straw came when Rajamani attempted to publicly praise Vijaya's artistic talents by unveiling a rather lopsided and hastily decorated column that he had secretly helped her with. Mrs. Gupta, inspecting the uneven lines and mismatched colors, raised a perfectly sculpted eyebrow. Just as Vijaya was about to make her excuses and disappear into the house, Mrs. Gupta turned to Rajamani, a surprisingly thoughtful expression on her face. Mr. Rajamani, she said slowly, while your enthusiasm for showcasing your wife's talents is admirable, perhaps true virtue speaks for itself. Sometimes, line-like steps is taken not in the glare of public praise, but in the quiet dignity of one's own home. She then glanced at Vijaya, a hint of something akin to respect in her eyes. Before anyone could respond, a loud crash came from inside the house. It sounded suspiciously like something valuable had just been broken. Vijaya's heart sank. She was getting used to these disasters by now.